shut up for 5 seconds to cut out, and then we'll start. All right, hey guys, welcome to Inkradio Podcast. Today we're joined by our guest who runs the GatorLANs in Florida. He runs some Splat Weeklies every time, and he's part of a team called Z Generation.
Generation Z.
There we go. Sorry. So welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks so much. I am a PhD student at the University of Florida. I am also a co-founder and co-captain of Generation Z Splatoon. On top of that, as you said, I run the LANs here in Florida, so we'll hopefully get to talk a bit more about that.
So I guess my question is, what does Generation Z mean? Is it supposed to be like not Gen X, not millennials, but the Generation Z?
What?
Yeah, actually it is. So it's pretty nerdy.
But aren't you a millennial?
So that's actually where this comes from, right? So like most of our generations, I'm assuming, are generation millennial, which is Gen Y. And there's like this major discrepancy online if you look it up between like the characteristics of a Gen Y person versus a Gen Z person. And it's just like it's a lot more like progressive and forward thinking than just Generation Y. So that's kind of where Gen Z came from.
Okay. So I guess we'll introduce Kendall and Nine. How's it going, guys?
Going well. Going good. Having a good time already. It's been a fun pregame.
So I guess before we start getting into the rough of things, because I know there's going to be some arguments here today about different things we're going to discuss. How was everyone's break? We took a 3-week break because everyone had family plans and obligations, and we just couldn't run the stream for a couple of weeks, but we're finally back. So I guess my question to you is, since it's the new year, 2 things. What have you guys done over that 3-week break? And I guess what are your goals for this year? What are you guys planning to do for the rest of this year? Not even related to Splatoon, it could be. I mean, obviously we'll probably have goals for Splatoon, but what goals do you have also just for this year in general?
Well, I guess I'll start. Over my 3 weeks, I got really sick, and I just kind of nursed that for a while, and broke my headphones, as you can tell by flying around here. They still work, but they're dangly, so that's not fun. Yeah, it's just been a pretty boring, lot of work, a lot of sleep, a lot of eating. Just, I don't know, kind of a normal time. It's been pretty boring, but my goals for the new year, you might have seen that I was posting on Twitter about a new PC and like the specs to get a good stream going. And that's because I'm finally going to start streaming. I'm just trying to get a ballpark estimate for how much I need to save. And I'm hoping to have that done by March or April, somewhere around there. See if I can save enough money up. And I guess that would be my big goal. And I gave up soda for my New Year's resolution. So that's about it.
Nice, man. And do you have any other future goals, or streaming's more like the immediate future one?
Streaming would be the big one. Of course, there's a lot of things in my personal life I'd like to do. Save up for Smash and Splash. That's another big one I want to do. And just kind of make that transition now that I'm graduated.
Hey, go to Beacon.
Go to Beacon.
Put that plug in there.
I want to go to Beacon. If any of you want to donate to me to get me to Beacon, I'll go to Beacon. But right now the money's just a little too tight. But really making the transition from graduated college to now being a working adult in the real world.
Oh, you've graduated fully?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh my god, I didn't even know. So what are you doing? Do you have a job now?
Man.
Yeah, I got 2 jobs, and I'm working both of those as long as I can, along with freelance. And hopefully sometime in the next 3 or 4 months, I've got a pretty good in at a bigger media company. And if I can go there, then lands won't be an issue. But that's don't want to count my chickens before they've hatched.
Congratulations. Congratulations on graduating.
Good.
So how about you, not nine? Fuck.
9.
Kendall.
Man.
Me again.
Come
All
on,
right.
man. That's never been off, man.
Sorry, I was just so
Only
infatuated
two.
by his story. It's all I
Thank-
can think about right now.
Saying my room was too dark before. Come on, man. You're not starting off on a good foot today, man. Yo, honestly, these past 3 weeks, they've been wild. I'll first off start off by saying that basically I was in Canada for the New Year's and Christmas. I got married.
Oh, you did get married in December. Oh yeah, congratulations,
Yeah,
man.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Welcome to the life.
I know it's a new step forward. So went into the new year basically with that. Basically we did it just to get the paperwork done. The big basically parties in August. On top of that,
Oh, that's what I thought, because I thought your wedding was in August. So you're just doing the marriage for that nice green card into the USA.
you know that for that. No, more for the healthcare in Canada. Going the opposite direction.
Wait, really?
Yeah, man. I'm actually going to Toronto.
Wait, you're moving to
that's the plan.
Toronto?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Whoa! You're gonna be
that's the plan.
Canadian?
That's the plan.
Oh my God! You're gonna start boosting newts everywhere,
I'm
man.
going yes, exactly. That's basically the plan. But on top of that, like taking some crazy for New Year's resolution. I'm taking some crazy like jumps. I'm trying to get back into personal training. The biggest thing is like I want to get really good at it again because I had to take some time off from it. And then on top of that, I just want to build my stream. Honestly, I've been having fun streaming in the mornings. Everybody says it's super late. Yes, watch me. That's my_Negus. 6 a.m. to 8. That's my plug, and that's about it. But I'm having fun doing it in the morning. So I really want to try to see if I can keep going with it and make it grow. And that's basically it for the new year right now.
So I guess my question to you is, what happens to Long Island Splat when Kendall's in Toronto? Does it become Long Island Toronto?
Nah, it keeps going. It's not anything that's going to stop. We've already talked about it. I already have the plans of keeping everything moving with it. I mean, it's not that big. It's not that far of a trip. It's an 8-hour trip.
I mean, 8 hours is still long, man. Like I drove to Boston and back, and I was like, I'm tired.
Yeah, I usually take the bus. It's really not that bad. It's a one night bus trip, and that's it.
Yeah, I guess. And how about you, Stars? How was your weekend? What's your goals for the future?
My break consists of me leaving like my nice tropical climate down here in Florida and coming to join you guys up north. So I got to experience the nice like -15 Celsius or like 6 Fahrenheit highs during the day. So it's pretty miserable.
Oh yeah,
Didn't
that's
like
another thing. Kendall, you're gonna have to get used to Celsius, man.
Bro, that joint don't make sense. I don't care what you tell me.
Actually, it makes way more sense. 0
Don't start
degrees is the
Don't
boiling
start
point.
this.
Anything below 0
boiling, right?
is
Yep.
freezing. Anything above is not freezing.
Bro, I
Fahrenheit, 30 degrees is some form of a number that starts freezing because they said so. Just
Bro, I had Doog and Toad try to explain this. It doesn't make sense, man.
it makes. Oh, anyways, we're not
It
going to
makes
get into this.
absolutely no sense.
Splatoon podcast.
America, gallons. All right, that's it.
Okay, continue on.
Yeah. Other than that, like my team Generation Z actually made it into the top 8 and actually top 4 for our division for Ludi. We got to play Negus in top 8.
Smackers.
Yeah. It was actually a pretty ridiculous set. Some crazy shit happened. You should go check it out if you can find the video. Sure I'll plug a bunch of crap later. Other than that, it's pretty good. In the future, well, the semester's pretty big for me because I have to get admitted to candidacy for my PhD. So that's kind of my one main goal other than like Splatoon stuff. So
All right. And I guess my question to you is I guess I'll extend another question to you guys is where do you guys see yourself with Splatoon in a year from now?
Wow.
A whole year. You know, that's crazy because
That's a lot.
it's crazy to think that a year ago I had commentated one event and it was Don't Park in the Grass. So I would have imagined that I was here. I don't know. That depends on where Splatoon's at, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess that aligns with what you think Splatoon is going to be in a year, right?
quad
So
sniper meta, yeah.
I don't know,
Quit
just-
moved over to another game, and
Down with Clan Blitz.
Yep.
Save it.
So, I guess what's your goals? Like, they don't necessarily have to come to fruition. Like, you don't have to predict the future, but you can have expectations of what you would like to have in the future. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Nine, I'm sure that you would love to be able to go to all the events and commentate them. Like, that would be a goal for you, right? Like, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd say the big going to as many lands as I can, of course, is always going to be a goal of mine, and that's of course building my stream. But within the community itself, I'd say I'd like to transition from just being a commentator to being kind of like a community, I don't know, kind of like a public figure who can help newer people get into the scene or help point them in the right direction or something like that. Kind of like
you want to become an advocate.
Sort of. I mean, like, but someone who can go and contact other scenes too, and who's recognized in the scene.
An advocate or an ambassador.
Yeah, I guess
a splat ambassador.
Sure. Splat. Yeah, there we go. 9 whole grains, the splat ambassador.
It sounds
runs
so bad.
Right off the tongue.
It
does.
So wrong.
We'll work on the branding, but that's kind of what I'd like to be. Kind of like what D1 and Alex Valle and Prague for different fighting games have become, where they commentate, but they're also just kind of there for the scene and can reach out to other scenes and things like that. So that's kind of the direction I'd like to go in eventually.
All right, and Negus, what about you? Like, I guess it could be just Long Island Splat. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. Mostly, I was going to say that looking at it now is trying to make basically. For me, honestly, I want to see Long Island Splat grow, like the local scene. I mean, we've already. I think the last one was. I think we had close to 50 people. I wanted to see it grow to like being more of like a consistent thing where we're able to like, it won't be like every 3 months, possibly maybe once a month. And we actually have a good like number coming out to play it. So that's kind of the only goal I really have, is just trying to like work forward for like Long Island Splat, maybe having another beacon. We'll see what happens. So I think those are like the goals that I kind of want to work for, is making that bigger. So that's kind of it for me.
All right. And
Splatoon.
And how about you, Stars?
Yeah, I'd say my goals are pretty similar in terms of like increasing my local scene. So right now we get somewhere around like 8 to 16 people coming out every time, and I'm hoping we can get that up to somewhere around 32 like consistent players, and kind of try to up the skill level a little bit. But it's pretty good. But along with that, I really want to see my team actually continue our progress. So I think last Ludi we were in C division, and we moved up to B division, and we like competed at a really high level. So I want to see a continuation of that in the future.
Sounds good. And I guess I'll start with me, since I missed out on everything. Is my weekend break, it was really busy. I was constantly going around to family, eating dinner. It didn't really feel like a break. I felt like I was just constantly going somewhere to visit family. Which is fine, but it's not like it's not relaxing, you know what I mean? It's just constantly going out and eating. And actually, for the most part, I've just been doing a lot of planning. I'm heading to Japan in March 17th to March 31st, for my honeymoon. It's a late honeymoon, but
yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, so we're heading there for 2 weeks, and I've been planning. I'm going to Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and Nikko for 14 days. And we finally got everything booked, all my Airbnbs. I got a nice onsen that we're spending a night in, which is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hot spring bath.
Okay,
Kendall.
cool.
I figured you didn't know what it was.
I haven't made it that far, and yeah.
So yeah, I got everything booked, and that's sweet. Actually, because of that, on my winter break, I got really into the wormhole of UFO crane games. Like, you know, those games where you like go to get plushies? I got really into like these YouTube channels. They're super popular too. They have like 300,000 views and stuff of people just winning prizes from them. And I got sucked into that hole for like forever. I watched all of them, man. Yo, they got some high quality stuff, man, in those things, man. Licensed stuff. Yeah.
Japan's gonna take all your money if you like those. There are arcades like that everywhere in Japan.
Yep. So that's what I've been doing. I've been planning all that, and it's kind of almost all done as of like this week. So now it's just kind of like us thinking about where we kind of want to go in the general area. But for the most part, we're safe. We have a place to stay, and we have all our flights and everything done. So we're all good. And then other than that, I guess goals for this year. I too have been cut. I'm not gonna say I cut out Soda 9, but I have progressively toned down on it. It wasn't like a goal. It started a little bit before Christmas, but it's just kind of like I've started. I guess it's kind of the New Year thing, right? I've been trying to eat a little bit better. And then, yeah, I guess my goals for the future is, well, now we have InkTV website up, just to keep improving that, making it a bigger presence throughout Splatoon. We already have things that were in planning from before that we're now trying to launch in the first half of the new year. So hopefully that becomes good and we're all set. And I guess the goal is I run the LANs in Quebec, but like I'd like to run a larger scale thing somewhere else. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Just a lot of planning all around, working a lot, planning trips, and then working on InkTV stuff, which is basically my life. So, yep. So I guess we'll get right into it now that everyone's talked about their breaks here. We're gonna go into I guess the first big topic is patch notes. We recently had patch notes that came out as of yesterday, was it?
Last night, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I kind of want to chime in on everyone's thoughts. I didn't get a chance to play, so I'm not going to comment so much on this, but I kind of want to know what everyone thinks about the new patch. If you don't know what happened, just go to the Nintendo website, look at the patch notes. We're just going to kind of briefly run down what we think really changed. So, yeah, one of you guys started off. Let us know what you think is way different or better or worse.
People just need to chill out with the GooTubers. I understand everybody's excited, but chill. Like, take a second, breathe, relax, realize that you are not good with it, and stop. Thank you. Also, I like how they did the bubbles. I think it's like a lot better to be able to actually like take them out if a person's not paying attention to them with like with them coming at you. So I feel like that's a lot better, honestly. That's all I had to say about that. Stop using GooTubers, please. Try Dynamos. That's cool, but GooTubers, no. Thank you.
Yeah, according to Solo Queue, dualies and Dynamo are now the two best weapons in the game, so the meta can enjoy those. I think the Slosher, I don't know, the vanilla Slosher's always been in a weird spot because it's I've always thought it was a good weapon, but it's not the sloshing machine and it's not the Tri-Slosher. But now it's got a little bit of, I mean, it's usable, I'd think now. If you need to use a baller for like Clan Blitz or something like that, you can use the vanilla Slosher. Well, I guess it's the custom Slosher, as the case may be. That's good. And I'm really interested, I know, Z-Stars, you were talking about it, but dualies, I'm really interested to see what place those take now, because we've all gotten pretty used to the normal kits that you see the aggressive shooters bring in, but the dualies have some very different kits. I mean, if you go all the way down to the Dapples and all the way up to the dualie Squelchers, there's some interesting kits there that can come in and kind of change things up, so I'll be interested in seeing where those go. But other than that, not a huge meta-changing patch, I don't think, but it was cool to see some of the bad weapons get buffed.
I mean, I would say it's meta changing. If people are really starting to latch onto dualies as a weapon, I'd say that it would change a lot of how that meta's played. People might drop NZAP in favor of maybe a dualie weapon.
I mean, weren't people using imparries before?
No,
like,
they weren't.
They weren't using them at all?
Very beginning.
Yeah, like a few people were.
When Inkjet was really good, you would see Hexen and some other players flex over to it to just get another Inkjet weapon in there. But I mean, that was not common. That was kind of
okay. Neat. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I guess as an add-on to this, how does there? Okay, so to be fair, I did play Splatoon enough to play the L3D. That was the only reason I came on to play, because I was busy. But I played the L3D. What does everyone think of that weapon?
For the dualie patch, it was really, really good. Mm-hmm. At the time, it wasn't meta breaking because, you know, like double armor, bubbles, and a blaster is kind of what you do. So now I think after the Emprees are going to become like god tier.
Wow.
You know,
that's bold.
That's really bold.
I don't know. I don't see the L3D doing much after the Emprees were buffed like this.
Listen, L3D is amazing. It's the most fun weapon. It's so good to play. Just burst bomb and plow. Both of the L3s are really good weapons, man. I don't know. I think there's people who are going to niche be really good with them.
I mean, that's how it's always been, though.
Yeah,
but like
In
So
Splatoon 1, though, it's like, unless you were playing the Cherry because of its kit, like, it wasn't... No one played a weapon of, like, an L3 and was like, this is the greatest thing ever. But I feel like in Splatoon 2, it's a little bit better.
More usable.
It's actually usable. It paints really well. So, yeah, I think it's, like, it can stand in the meta. Like, it's not, like, a top-tier pick, but it could definitely be whipped out with the right comp and do really well.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
you've
think you
seen
hold your
people
team
with
back.
it.
Yeah, I don't think you hold your team back if you pick it, which is more than you can say about a lot of weapons right now.
Yep. All right. And did anyone get a chance to try Schellendorf Institute, the new map?
Actually, yeah.
Or Hammerhead 2.0?
It angers me that missiles go through the top.
Wait,
That
really?
Yeah. That
Well,
angers me.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, we were doing a bunch of scrims against SKR, and they all just kept using missile weapons, and all of them kept hitting me. I was like, why does it not do that? They're like, oh yeah, it goes through. So that was anger-inducing. I don't know. It changes a lot based on the modes because the ease of access to the other areas, the other team's top of glass changes a lot.
Yo, splat
Because the
zones.
Squeezer is so good on that map if it's not one where the glass is connected. You can really make life difficult for anyone who's up on that other side. It's like the perfect range for Squeezer. You can shoot down. Stingray, it works on a long map, so I don't know. It's an interesting map. I don't know if I like it yet or not, but it's definitely not like anything else that we have in the game.
All right. I mean, I got to play like 2 games. To be honest, I didn't play a lot. I played Tower Control, and I actually got matched against Bob both times. And he just messaged me, and he goes, and I'm like, I don't know. I actually don't know how I feel about the map. I didn't really like Hammerhead, so having this map, I just feel like it's so claustrophobic in certain areas. Like when you go to the lower side of the map, I feel like it's hard to make plays on your own in this map.
That's fair.
I really felt like I didn't have enough spacing to kind of go like one-on-one in a lot of situations, at least with an L3, which was what I was playing. Like, I don't think it's the best map for an L3, if that makes sense. But, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the map overall, but I'm not really a big fan of, like, elevation in maps in the first place, so...
I mean, it's not like Flounder, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, Flounder, I hated Flounder, but Hammerhead's better, but... Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I didn't play enough to really make an assured stance on how I feel about it, but so far from what I played, it's not, like, anything of my favorites.
What about you, Z-Stars? How you feeling about it?
Yeah. I did play it a bit. I think it's fine. I think it's definitely not the worst map in the game. I do like it, but like you guys said, I haven't really played it as much, so can't really make a definitive is this really, really good or not.
All right. I guess we'll go right into the talks of, since G5's coming up this week, I know Nine's going to be going, he's going to be casting and playing in it, and we're probably all going to be watching it. We're going to get right into kind of the competitive side of it, talking about the teams, how we feel, predictions. But right before we get into everything, let's go more into the online space with Ludi. Ludi closed out. We actually streamed their grand finals on InkTV. Ethereal versus Saikai. And Ethereal won. But not only that, Ethereal has not just won Ludi. They've won SQSS the week before that, and they've just been on a tear, like destroying everyone they played against. Like, what do you guys think about Ethereal's domination that's been as of late? Do you think it's like a thing that'll pass? Do you think that they are like the best team at the moment? Or like, what do you guys think?
Give me 1 second here. Someone else take this. I have Ethereal's stats somewhere, but they have not finished. They have not finished worse than 5th place at a major tournament in a long time. So
Yeah. But
they've
couldn't
been
you-
yeah.
Wouldn't you say the
They've been
same
on
thing
an
about
absolute
like
tear.
STDX and like Olive?
Well, Olive hasn't been quite as active in the same. The point that I'm trying to make is not only have they been on a tear getting the top wins, but they have been really consistent. I mean, how many times do we see a team that'll have that one really good tournament and then kind of fade back into that top 8 range? But like, they have been one of the top 5 teams for a while now, and now they've just cemented themselves as arguably a top 3 team, I would say.
Like, you put them ahead of who? Like, STDX, Olive are like the top two, right?
I mean,
Can you argue that though?
Or I
Ethereal-
mean, you could argue
STDX
that STDX,
is
Saikai, Ethereal, if you really wanted to.
Well, Ethereal beat both those teams, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to just give them a free buy because they're seated higher, you know?
Well, I didn't mean in like ranked order. I'm not
okay.
I just meant like 3 teams.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they beat them, but I mean, like, you could say the same thing like a couple of weeks ago. This team beat another team, and so they beat them, so they're better, right? I mean, it's not the best way to go about it, but I guess, has anyone played against them personally? Like, me and Nine, we are more on the sidelines of these things, but you guys play. Like, have you guys played against Ethereal?
You would have to make it that far. But no, I've just watched what they've been doing, and they've definitely been like in the talks lately, and seeing just like how they've been playing, like especially like that one clip. I'm sorry, where literally I know it's off topic of like talking about their ranking, where one of the players was which one was it? It was Snapper Canal, and just going off their like team synergy. One player is up on the team's like whatever it is, sneaky or whatever you want to call it, and jumps to the basket, and another player throws a clam, and like he literally throws the football at the goal. And I'm just like, what type of, like, they have a type of team synergy that is absolutely amazing after even just watching that one play. And I watched the whole thing through, and it was amazing just seeing how they play, how they get things done, and how they get like the objective, and like you can never just count them out for anything. So, and that's probably one of the few games I've seen. So yeah, personally.
All right. I mean, I guess we all kind of agree that Ethereal is easily like a top 3 team now at this point, coming out on top.
Yeah.
No competition, no debate.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on where you rank Ludi, honestly. I mean, I would have to say it's probably one of the bigger.
But not only that, SQSS, which had like the most teams we've had in Splatoon 2, I think. Am I right, Nine? Was that the most teams in a tournament?
So okay,
other than like Nintendo affiliated ones,
right? So
okay.
I found my stat sheet. So based on entrance alone, SSQS would be, but or SQSS, however we're saying it, Squid Boards had 88 teams that competed, so it was a little bit fewer. But I want to go back. They finished 5th at the September Squid Boards, and then at Ludi seeding Platinum Cup qualifier. Y'all remember that tournament? That had 99 competing teams, and they took 2nd at that one too. So yeah, this was, if it's not the biggest tournament, it's definitely the 2nd biggest tournament, and at what would be the other arguable biggest tournament, they took 2nd place.
Well,
that's awesome.
I just have a question. Like, where would you put Ludi with all that? Because it kind of puts an example of like they have to face all those teams, and they came out on top of it, and it's like it's like the longest drawn out tournament out of all of them. Like, if Ludi doesn't show your like gamer endurance, I don't know what to tell you. But besides,
I'd say it's a different type of skill.
Okay.
I would say that it really shows the flavor of the month, because it still ends up going into like a playoff, right? So like Ethereal really started hitting it off around the playoff time of Ludi, and then as you can see, they went from that playoff point to winning. So I wouldn't say the group is what made it. It's more just that playoff run of the last 3 weeks, which is where they've been tearing it up. At least that's how I interpret it.
So you're saying you think they're just on a hot run right now?
Yeah. Well, okay, hold on.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna go anywhere anytime soon. Like, I don't think they're just gonna burn out. But I think that them being first all the time is probably in response to just like a couple of factors, like their teamwork mixed with them understanding how to play against a bunch of teams from a while. Like, everything's just kind of connecting the dots right now. And I think like as maybe other teams start changing up weapons, because everything's kind of stagnant right now, I feel like within competitive, like weapon wise, a lot of people are playing the same comps over and over again.
Okay.
So I feel like once that starts switching up, you might start seeing a shift, because maybe they're used to this meta and not the other one. I mean, I'm not speaking on their behalf or anything, but I could see them staying within that top 5, but not constantly winning like all the time. Like, they've shown that they're really, really good and that they are like a top 5 team, but constantly winning, like, STDX shows up to a tournament and they win. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter when they enter. They enter at the beginning of Splatoon, they enter in the middle, they enter a LAN, they just win, right? And I think that's what we need to see. We need to start seeing, like, it doesn't matter when it is, they'll always win. They're on a hot streak right now, but we'll find out if they keep winning. That's all I'm going to say.
I want to see them play STDX. That's going to be, I think, the big test, because if they can beat STDX, that's like the one top team that they haven't gotten a win on yet, as far as I know. So that'll be an interesting one to see.
Yeah.
And I hope that they do meet at some point.
InkTV exhibition match.
There you go.
I mean, you never know, man. I'd love to, but we'll see. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll stop it there with Ethereal. I mean, it's good for them. Congratulations, guys, for doing so well. Yeah, hopefully you can keep it out and make sure that hot streak keeps going for a couple of months here. So with that, we'll get into the big LAN that's coming up in just a couple of days. Genesis 5, the Splatoon side of it. We're going to go over some of the group stages, give our predictions. We'll let you know who we think is going to win. So we'll start it off right here. Let me just pull up this list, okay? Let's see. So we got groups. Do you happen to have the group stages here?
What you mean, the stages they're going to play, like the stage list?
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, let's get into who do you guys think are going to be like some of the top teams. Well, let's see. Who do you think are going to be the sleeper teams? Okay. So we have the obvious teams like Team Olive is flying down. We have STDX, who are obviously like some of the two favorites to win it all. STDX and Olive. We also have Eclipse, who's looking to do really, really, really good. Like, these are all teams who are top teams in general, and then on top of it all, they're coming to a LAN with their full roster. You also have teams like Deep Blues, Komodo, who are like some of the more seasoned veterans in LANs, and Legacy. I mean, we've gone through all these, actually. I mean, if you want to go to inktv.media and check out our interview series with all these top teams, you can go do it. But these are all the teams that are expected to win, like Yami, the teams that we've interviewed. So I guess I want to go into who do you think are the sleeper teams who might upset some of the top teams going into this tournament?
Well, I'll say at 4-9, like, Comrades. Seriously, though, like, I think they are one team that people are going to sleep on, and they're going to see some serious action into the top cut of this bracket.
So for those who don't know, the team roster for Comrades is Spicy Crack and Rolls Bob, who we've talked about already on this show. 9 himself, just below me. We have Swiffy, who is a Charger main. He's played on a bunch of teams, SRL in particular. And we have Bread, who's also on Spicy Crack and Rolls, and he's a monster with the brush. Yeah, I'd say that's a sleeper team. They could take wins off of like a Deep Blues or a Yami.
Spoon saying we can take wins off a Deep Blues team because we did do that.
Yeah, man.
I'll go ahead. Thank you for the kind words. I'll go ahead and throw two teams I think that could really make a decent run. I think that we already talked a little bit about. Oh gosh, where is it? We talked a little bit about Saffron Rice. I know we joked a little bit about poor Phlox and the unfortunate situation that had last time. But Dia, Kazuki, Phlox, D-Nerd, I think that, there's some star power there that, when you haven't been to LANs before, it can go one of two ways. Either nobody knows, either you don't do good because you're not ready for it, or nobody's ready for you because you're so new. So I think that they've got a real chance to do something. And I think I'm looking for a bounce back from Legacy. I don't think they performed quite as well at Squidstorm, quite as well as a lot of people thought. They were a 5 or 6 seeded team in a lot of people's brackets. I believe they got 9th, getting eliminated by SKR. So I'd look for them to bounce back, maybe take a top 5 spot somewhere close to that. I've heard some people say that this is a better team that they're fielding, that they've got their A team, if you will. So we'll see, but those are two teams that I'm looking for. I guess Legacy's kind of cheating because they've been an upper-level team, but I'm looking to see them bounce back.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to put Legacy in there. Same exact reason. I think that exactly what Nine said. And I'm also going to plug in Two Dots and his children.
Yeah,
So
that's one of my picks. Is Two Dots and his
Two
children.
Dots and his children. I think that's going to be another sleeper team. Also, definitely in that pool that's listed there. Also, I think that's another sleeper team. I think what's it? Pool C, if that's what it's going by. I think that's going to be a.
We'll go into the group stages
Yeah.
shortly. I guess
Yeah.
one more team I want to bring up here is hold on, let me see what the name is again. Oh my god, why can't I find it? Let me see. I need to find this team here. Tudos and his children. Oh yeah, Divinity.
Okay.
They have Science and Yoko. Not many people know, but we actually play with Yoko and Squidstorm, and we did pretty good, and he dominated. He got a ton of kills with Hunty. They were kind of like our huge offense a lot of the time. Well, we were all kind of offensive, but like he kind of went like really ham. And him and Science, they work really well together. They're good friends. They're both from the same place. So him teaming up with Hermes and Fate, who've been on teams together before, I think you could see some really good matches. I don't know if they can get out of groups like 1-2, you know what I mean? But I think they'll definitely put up some stiff competition against those teams. So, yep.
I'll agree with that.
So,
I think.
And then there's the great thread of Hamazawa Lab. We talked a little bit about that. For those who don't know, Hamazawa Lab is a team of Japanese Smash Bros. Players. Or I think 3 of them are Japanese Smash Bros. Players. I'm not 100% sure on the specifics, but they're from Japan and they wanted to enter this tournament. They wanted to enter the Splatoon tournament. And we know nothing about... I don't recognize any of the names. I don't think they're like top level players, but sometimes not knowing a player is the scariest thing. So I'll be interested in seeing how well they do. If this is a side event or if they're actually really good. Because the best Japanese Smash 4 player for a while, Edge, he did quit Smash 4 to play Splatoon. Well, he was the best, and then he went back to Smash 4, and now he kind of fiddles in both. So,
all right. And I guess
to see.
we can look at these groups here. There's 3 groups. Do you know how many teams get out into the top bracket?
It's top 12. So it's top 2 from each team, and then I believe it's 3 through 6 go into the redemption bracket, and then from there they get 6 more from that.
Okay, well, I guess what I want to go into is who do you think the top 2 are going to be from each of these 3 pools? There's 8 teams. I guess we'll start with Group A, which is Dredgelords, Endless Oceans, Hamewaza Lab, Itty Bitty Squiddies, Moon, Saffron Rice, Set to Destroy X, Sholescence, Yami, and Divinity. I mean, can we all just put Set to Destroy X as number 1 and just get that out of the way? Like, do we need to debate that, or
No.
Set to Destroy X can win the whole thing?
Set to Destroy X. I mean, if I
We'll
were
get into that conversation when we get to that top part,
Yeah.
but I think, anyways.
So Set to Destroy X, are we all pretty confident that Yami nabs a top 3 spot?
No.
I don't think so.
All right, interesting. Who do you put in?
Maybe Saffron Rice? Sorry, not Saffron. Yeah, Saffron Rice or Moon, maybe.
Moon. Oh, yeah, I was going to say Moon also.
Yeah, Moon with
Yeah.
Spectre and Sar and oh my god, I can't name them right now, but they're all really good players. They have a really Octopops from Tomo. Pretty
And
good
Sphere,
team. Yeah. I think they have a chance. I think Divinity, like I said, has a chance to take off games, but Moon might actually take it. I feel like Moon might have a really strong chance.
Well, this is well. Who do you got then? Who do you got? I mean, you said who's gonna make it, not who has a chance. Spoon, give me your top 3. Give me the 3 you get now.
STDX and Moon.
Did he just leave?
I think he got disconnected. He messed up my whole setup.
I thought it was like a dramatic.
He like freeze framed. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm so shocked."
I thought he got pissed off. Yo, what happened to your?
He should be good.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay, yeah, I was saying Moon and STDX are gonna make it through.
Okay.
Anyone
Moon and
else?
STDX.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a hard fought, but I might go with Yami.
Okay.
I might go with that. I think it's gonna be like a definitely good fight for second, but I think I'm gonna go with Yami.
How about you, Stars?
So I'm gonna put a team that nobody's mentioned yet at second, Shalessence. So I actually played with Melee. She used to be my team captain on Fresh of Squids. She actually played with me at Milan, and we nearly 3v4'd the team that won effectively. So I'd give definite contention to them getting second seed, but I'm kind of playing more towards second, third, fourth. But I think they're definitely getting out of that bracket.
Okay. And 9?
STDX and Yami for top 2, and third I'll put Moon. I'll play the odds.
Okay. I put Yami third.
I was gonna put Moon third. Then.
Yeah, I think everyone except Stars is kind of within the 3, but Stars, don't worry, man. If it works, then your prediction goes off.
These Florida Splatoon lands, like we had both players from Yami and Shalessence at one of our lands, so I've seen these players in action. I know what counters what, so we'll see what happens in this bracket. I'm pretty excited to see it.
Are you gonna put money down on Shalessence making it?
I know.
Are you that
How much
confident?
are you talking?
You got to
I don't
put
know,
like
I'm
10
kind
to
of-
1 odds. I'm just saying. You can't just stack it as a 1-to-1. That doesn't work, man.
What? Hey,
Hey,
Splatoon
Who knows?
bookie is going to be a roll. If you're watching this right now and you're not sure how to contribute to the community, we need a bookie. Go to Vegas, figure out how it works, learn the trade. Let's get some money in this scene.
Yeah, we'll
through
start a Splot
illegal
Mafia.
ways. Yeah, let's go. We've
it's
already
not part of the
yeah.
website already?
Sorry, a Splakuza.
Splakuza.
Wow.
That's a bit much.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Anyways, Group B, we have Tudos and sorry, no, that's Group C.
No.
Group B, we have Empty Vanity, Inkanot Have Even, Jelly Bobs, Legacy, License to Krill, Squirtle Squad, Team DC, which has DC from Smash commentator, Team Olive, Tina Doesn't Know, and Eclipse.
Pretty interesting group.
I
for
mean,
sure.
it's not even a question.
Olive.
Oh wait, Legacy's in there. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Legacy, License to Krill, Olive, Eclipse, and then a couple more.
Yeah.
I'm
It's-
gonna
it's a pretty
call.
tough group.
I'm gonna say, Team Olive and Legacy make it through.
Oh, so you're taking Legacy over Eclipse?
Eclipse
Olive
would be
would-
third.
Ooh.
It could be anyone. It could be them, and even at that, License to Krill may even like upset some people.
I'm gonna go with the clip second, and then Legacy third.
I will also take Olive Eclipse, but I think that Legacy makes it out of the redemption bracket pretty cleanly.
Yeah.
I'll say
Yeah.
that.
I think
they
any of
make it
the
out
any of the
cleanly.
3 of those will make it out of that redemption bracket. Like
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah, I think that the set between Eclipse and Legacy will be one of the best sets in the tournament, though.
Okay.
That I'll say that. I think it's been really close between those teams recently, if I remember correctly, and that's going to be a really good one. I hope I get to watch that, or better yet, commentate it. That'd be even better.
All right. And how about you, Stars?
I'll have to agree with you guys, but I'm kind of hoping for an upset from License to Krill.
Yep. You got Bradley on there, man. Smiley.
Yeah, Smiley's
Smiley's one of
awesome
your
guy.
dudes from Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the other guy on my
Smiley
team
Gaming.
from LA.
I just want to say that Smiley is one of the most positive people I've ever like. I've never met him, but like when you talk to him, when you just see what he says, sometimes he's like the most positive person I've met. So
Dude, he's great.
if anyone wants to have like some positivity in their life, you've been raging from some Splatoon, just go say hi to Smiley, dude. He really is a smiley dude. Like he's a really friendly guy. And I think that he has a good motivation, and I think that his team's pretty solid too. So yeah, don't sleep on them is all I'm gonna say. They have a chance. So yeah, Group C.
I'm actually taking Deep Blues as number 1.
Okay.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay. Let's see the list. Let's not jump to conclusions that are
Yeah.
wrong. Okay. So,
Swinging, I
Tudos
love
and
it.
his children, Deep Blues, Frank's Hot Dogs, Ink Sync, Komodo, Comrades, Quasar is Not Dead, Splashers, Splatdown, and Super Splat Squids. Actually, after looking over this list, I'm going to agree with you, actually, Kendall.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I do. I think I agree.
Thank you.
Deep Blues knows how to clutch it out, especially against these teams. I think Komodo won against them in that finals. That was an amazing set, by the way, at Squid Storm. But
It was.
I think Deep Blues.
I think we have some roster changes.
They have Taylor. They
We have
got
some
Taylor.
roster changes.
What do you mean?
Yeah, we have some roster changes from.
Oh,
last
from
night.
that one. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have Taylor.
Yeah. Both of the teams are different.
Yeah, but this time, okay, so here's what I'll say. No hate to anyone on the teams, but Deep Blues, Taylor is like a vital piece of that puzzle. Taylor is such an aggressor on that team, and having him in it this time is like, they did really well at the LAN. With Taylor now in there, with Day as well, you have like this unstoppable offense-defense going on with Deep Blues that I think will really push them forward in this LAN. As opposed to Komodo, Rila Kuma's not there anymore, who's like a really strong player, and you have Vesper. Both are really good, but I feel like Rila Kuma is more versatile in a lot of different positions. I mean, I feel like Komodo's going to come after me and tell me I'm wrong, but at least from playing personally with Rila Kuma on a team before, like, he plays really good with every single weapon, and you can kind of make him pick up whatever he wants, and it works. But all that being said, I think Komodo and Deep Blues are going to be the two teams that come out. There's a chance of an upset for Chudos and his children against Komodo, maybe.
No comrades? Come on, man.
Nope.
Gotta live a little bit.
Oh, Nine's comrades? Oh, they're going to be last now. I'm kidding.
Yeah. I can make that happen.
Oh, wait, but no, to be fair, there is a really strong...
Well,
I think this is the hardest group to call. I'm going to be completely honest, because I feel like Comrades, Chudos and his children, Deep Blues, and Komodo are all... It all comes down to how they can play at a LAN event. That's really all I'm going to say to it.
That's true.
Komodo understands how to play at a LAN. Like, they're the veteran players, I guess you could say. And Deep Blues do have some of that as well. So they might win over that, but like even Comrades, like you guys have all been to LANs too. Like you and Brett have been to like every single one. Bob has been to a couple. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you guys definitely have the experience as well, but Komodo has that team synergy. I feel like this is the group of like actual LAN experiences right here.
That's fair.
I
think
know,
like
it could go any of the four, but I think Deep Blue 100% takes it, and I think Komodo is the strongest contender for second.
I think if anything, like this is probably like I say Deep Blues just off of their past history, and obviously adding in like somebody like Taylor. But honestly, if you're looking at this pool, I think this might actually be like your bloodbath pool, if anything goes wrong. So like if like Komodo's not on their game, like possibly maybe Comrades actually might come out on top. You never know. I think like. Honestly, I think there's a bigger chance of like changes happening in that one.
And I'd say just riding on hype too. Like, me and Nine can attest to that when we were playing. Like when we originally started, we really didn't think we'd go far. And then it's like once we got that 3-0 on SRL or semi SRL at that point, we were like on top of the world. We're like, we can definitely do this. And like when we played against like SKR and all those and Deep Blues, those games were so close to the point where we actually had control of the games and we made the mistakes to lose. Like that game against SKR or SKA in game 5, right? Like Nine, you were with me. Like we had that game and we blew it, right? Like it was in our hands. And that's what I'm trying to say is like, this can happen to anyone. So in the same way, Comrades with Nine, they are not the most experienced team playing together, but you guys are all good friends. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a big factor going into it. And it could be that hype play that reverses and you guys win. Like anything can happen at these events, you know? So
yeah. I'll go ahead and go a little bit against the grain. I'm going to give...
Oh, you're going against the grain?
Really?
Oh, mother frick. I'm going to say, not really.
So
I still think I didn't say it, you did.
You just said I'm going against the grain. You literally said it.
Was not you're not wrong, but you're also wrong. I have the same top two teams making it, but I'm going to put Komodo over Deep Blues.
Okay.
But I still think it's going to be close, and I think Deep Blues absolutely is capable of taking it. But here's my thought. Pixel and Lux are arguably the two most successful LAN players that there are.
That's
Pixel's
true.
That's actually true.
Never finished worse than third, and Lux has never finished worse than second. So they have a ton of that skill. I think that they have a real chance of just keeping calm and playing and going in and making things happen. Like, they just always find a way to get it done, you know? Like, I wouldn't have put money on Komodo getting second last time either, but they found a way to do it, even though grand finals weren't great. So I'll have them take it over Deep Blues, but like I said, I could very easily see it going the other way. But I do think that those are very convincingly... I think the gap between 2 and 3 and 4 is actually a lot bigger than you guys do. I think that it's easily those two teams, and there will be a lot of fights in the redemption bracket, but I think those two teams take that pool pretty convincingly.
Yeah, actually, you pull a strong point for Komodo. Like, I think Pixel's someone who... Pixel, I mean, everyone always says it, but, like, Pixel is always slept on, man. Like, he's always slept on against a bunch of people. Like, he comes up... I don't know if it's just, like... just how his reaction is or something, but like everyone sleeps on him, and then after you watch him at a LAN, and his movement is really something to behold. Like, I always notice that Pixel's movement is really exceptional compared to a lot of players, and he's able to move really well around the map. And yeah, people really underrate him, and I think they shouldn't, because he performs. He steps up at LANs. He just does. I think the issue with Pixel in particular, at least when we casted some sets, was that he either makes the play and goes hard, or he dies and the team dies. Like, he's very much, he goes too far sometimes and doesn't have the self-restraint, but that also pushes them in a way to get big leads too. So, yeah. But don't sleep on him.
Yep.
I guess since we're coming around to the final, who do you think is going to be the top 2
in the whole tournament?
Yeah.
Come on.
Who do you think is going to win?
Olive.
STDX Olive.
STDX takes it over Olive in the finals. That's my prediction. I think that's
same.
STDX is in my mind. STDX is number 1 until someone proves me wrong by beating them, and that's not any sort of disrespect. STDX has just looked on another level. That wasn't quite DPG level grand finals, but it was really close to GPG level grand finals that we saw at Squid Storm. So I think it'll be a much better matchup than last time, but I mean, until someone else beats STDX, I'm going them all the way.
I mean, I'm okay with STDX, but do you think Olive's going to make it second? Do you think there could be an upset?
I think they're the only other tier, like that level team there. There's nobody else is there anybody else close to them? Honestly. I
think so. Here's the thing, is that if you look at it just from an objective perspective of like online tournaments and how they've placed and everything, I completely agree with you. I think those are the teams that always consistently reach to the top. But these are LANs, man. This is like
these are LANs where, I mean, just saying, like, where's Dude? You talked about Lux like taking places in these tournaments. Where has Dude taken places in almost every single one of these LANs?
Yeah,
but
true. Team Olive, have they played together at a LAN as well? Like, you have to
understand.
Lux has been with Pixel a while.
You know, no, you're right about one thing though. When was the last time that we saw them in a LAN? It was in Splatoon 1, and the winner got to go to E3.
Okay,
they were the big favorites to go.
All right.
They didn't win. Rising Moon won. That's fair. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say.
I think they're a different team. I think they're a different team now, and I think that will help them. And I don't think there's quite a team of the caliber of Rising Moon, aside from, of course, STDX here. But that's a good point. Are you putting?
Come on, guys.
I'm just.
Let's be real.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw it out here.
I want
okay,
you to be real.
I'm just
tell me the team that's beating them.
I'm just gonna throw it out here. Okay, sleeper pick. Okay.
Okay, who's beating?
You're gonna hate me. I don't want to say it because I'm gonna sound like an idiot.
Okay,
let me just make sure of this. Let me look over this list one more time, okay?
You know you're pulling this out your ass, man. I'm sorry.
Spoon.
Come on, Spoon.
Spoon.
I'm gonna say, okay, maybe, just maybe. I'm not saying. I'm saying the stack. If we're putting this objectively speaking, all of SCDX are the top 2. Okay?
Get to it.
I have this feeling in my gut. I have this feeling, this aching pain, that Deep Blue is going to be second.
No. Just gonna say no.
This deep feeling, it's just gutted in here, man. It's my boys. You know,
Yo,
you got
man,
Taylor, man.
love
Taylor
playing
and
Double.
Day,
Yeah.
the combo. Listen, I always hold a soft spot in my heart for Deep Blues. Okay, they were around in BNS. We kind of like we fostered them. We fostered their
These are one of
talent
those
with our
moments where
raw
anything
tournament.
Isn't possible. I'm sorry to tell you that.
But they're really good, and they're like a really good friends, and they're a family. You know what I mean? They got it, man. I don't know. Taylor's met us before. He's got that fire in him when he meets people. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, he's gonna be on a rampage.
I'll say this: that would be one of the best stories that this community's had, like period. I want it to happen, but
Listen, I'm not trying to say that that's the case. I feel like a 75% chance, or even higher, that all of STDX make it to the finals. Okay, I think
I'm sorry to
Eclipse.
say.
I think Eclipse even has a slight chance, but I don't know. I just want that underdog. I want Deep Blues to do well. Like, they're just cool dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got some of the skill to back it behind them as well. They got a really stacked roster for what they have this time. I don't know, man. You got me on it from that first time, Kendall. I'm calling it, man.
I think if they had Dreas, I think you might.
That's
have
a
an
different
argument
story.
There, I think if they have
That's
Dreas, I think that's.
Different story at that point in time.
But without, I love Taylor. I'm as big a Taylor fan as anybody. I love watching Taylor. I love watching Day. I think they are individual like caliber. I think they're really good. But
Olive takes it to the next level. Like,
what conversation did we just finish having? We had a conversation about the top 2 or 3 teams in the world. Well, not in the world, but in
Western scene.
Top Western scene. And we had a conversation, and we included Olive in that conversation. Right now, I don't even think you include Deep Blues in a top 10 conversation, man. And though it is LAN, I want to see it happen too, okay? I'll go on record and say I want to see Deep Blues beat STDX and win it all. Deep Blues is one of my favorite teams, but I don't know, man. I would give a chance to Eclipse over.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Eclipse
Deep
has a
Blues.
chance. Well, and like I said, okay, listen, I'm reading the chat here, guys. Okay, you guys are all shitting on me. Okay,
they should.
I've stated
Keep it going,
Olive.
please.
I stated Olive and STDX are most likely going to be the teams that go through. Like, for the most part, everything goes according to plan. But we all know nothing goes according to plan, okay? Nothing goes according to plan. You never know. Literally, something can happen. Maybe STDX, they all get the flu virus or whatever. I don't know.
Are you wishing harm on these?
No,
honestly,
I'm just trying to say
come
you
on,
never know what
man.
happens. Physically, something could go wrong. I'm not saying I don't wish it upon anyone. I'm saying and people could feel down in the moment, man. People could get some sniffles. Some people can have really
Honestly,
bad allergies. Maybe there's cats in the venue and they get cat allergies, man. Like,
Bro, the only way that they're not making it is if Sendu or Nike misses their flight. One of them. If one of them just misses, if the flight doesn't, let's say there's a crazy storm going by, they just can't make it for the first day. That's the only way they're not making it.
So can I throw something a little bit different into this conversation before it goes way too far south? So what I'm thinking here is that I feel like, yes, STDX is probably going to be number 1 in this tournament, but I think the contention for number 2 will really depend on the team comps after this patch, because running into this patch, a lot of things were you need a Forge, you need an NZAP, you need another NZAP, and then either pick a blaster or a sloshing machine, right? That was basically the meta, depending on if you're STDX or not, right? So after this patch, I feel like a lot of things are going to change, especially since this is going to be on LAN, and armor is a lot weaker on LAN just because of the frame differences. So I'm looking at some team that's going to be crazy enough to run 2 Forges, an NZAP, and either a Blaster or an Emperors after this patch. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So
We're talking about the most adaptable team.
yeah. Well, actually, that is a good point. They are playing right when the new patch hits, so people won't have time to really practice, right?
you can
Yeah.
practice, but still, it's going to be different.
Yeah, depending on how long their flight is.
I don't know. I'm just saying there's a lot of extenuating factors that can happen in a LAN that just doesn't happen online. You're in your comfort zone at a online. You can wear your pajamas. You can take your socks off while you play. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things. Yes.
Ooh.
There's just tons of things that you can do, and I'm saying like it can be different at a LAN event. All thoughts aside, they're most likely going to be the top 2. But you cannot take it out of the question. SCDX has shown that they're not really fazed by that kind of stuff. That's why I hold them at number 1. But we're not 100% sure with Olive. And like you said, 9 happened at E3 and Splatoon 1. We all thought they were going to dominate, and then they lost in the finals.
So then how about this? Let's put this to cap this conversation of top 2. If someone is going to oust Olive for that second spot, everybody give one team. Now I know Deep Blues has already been given by Spoon. So who I think Eclipse. I think if anybody's going to beat Olive, it's going to be Eclipse.
No. I'm gonna live in Spoon's dream world, and I'll say Deep Blues also, with the power of friendship.
Power of God and anime on my side.
I've never heard someone so angrily say with the power of friendship. They'll do it with the power of friendship. With power of friendship.
Nah, but in all seriousness, I think I would have to take that team, honestly. Me personally. That's about it.
All right. Well, what about you, Stars?
I'm just trying to look at who's on Eclipse right now. Yeah, I really like Komodo for this tournament, but I would give it to Eclipse for bringing it all the way to second place here.
All right. I mean, I guess that wraps it up for that. I mean, we kind of picked our teams. Give me a second. I'm going to get my cat off of here so he doesn't knock over stuff. Sorry. All right. So, I mean, I guess that wraps up that conversation. One last thing I want to go on before we get into some viewer questions here is, I guess, a wrap-up discussion from our last talk, because this seems to be highly controversial between all of us because we're split 2-2 on this. Me and 9 are of a different opinion, but we also come from different backgrounds of Kendall and Stars here. Me and 9 don't play competitively, but we watch a lot of competitive. We broadcast. Kendall and Stars play competitively. We're going to talk about Clan Blitz a month on. How does everyone feel about Clan Blitz?
Chat, press 1 if you hate Clan Blitz, and press 2 if you feel anything about it but hatred. Let's get this
doesn't
on
count. We can put the spies into hate, right?
Sure. If you feel negatively, press 1 in any sort of way.
I already see a few wrong answers.
I see a bunch of wrong answers.
Okay, so
what is going on?
Listen, Clan Blitz is amazing. It's a great mode. It's so fun to watch.
When's the last time you played it?
It's so fun to play.
When's the last time you played it?
Like a week and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It hasn't changed from a month ago to a week and a half ago. A week and a half ago.
I know, Saikai in the chat saying too, man. They're saying it.
Say whatever the heck they want. It'd be wrong.
I don't want to play competitive Turf War. I'm sorry.
It's better competitive Turf War, dude. It makes sense.
It's
oh my
who can
God.
wipe the team repeatedly 3 times and win.
Yes.
That's the mode.
But if
That's
you wipe if you wipe a team 3 times in a row, you're gonna win every mode.
3 consecutive wipes doesn't win you the mode.
But you push the objective to their spawn before actually having to do anything, right? Like, if you put them into their spawn 1 time, it's like, how much QR is the other team running, and how lucky are they to kill you?
Listen.
Time to get back out?
No. I want to point out that there are snipes that you can get on the football. Like, man, people coming in from both angles, like having a dodge factor, just getting a couple of points in, you know what I mean? There is that. It happens. You see it in competitive matches.
You also see clams spawn underneath the person's feet while throwing them into the basket. And they're like, hey, I can win now. Thanks, game.
Thank you, game. Here they are.
Oh my God. Yeah, but you have to be in that position. If you can get in that position, then it's worthwhile.
What big set did that happen? What big set did that happen in where it changed the course of the game?
I just want to say,
you're playing examples of the worst possible thing.
Okay,
Like,
I have a better question. Did you ever watch a match where the team that you thought should have won didn't win?
Yeah.
I actually did. Conton Knights beat Olive, so maybe that's not the best argument.
Yeah, but
Without
but to be fair, was their push that they did in particular really strong to warrant them winning? It's the same thing as Rainmaker, right? Like, there are times when you feel like another team should win, but they still end up making that play. Clamblitz is a similar way. I don't see what's wrong with that. They just have a stronger push at a certain point in time.
So you're saying the team that's less skilled should win the mode?
Basically.
Well, yeah, but that's
a
how
coin
upsets
toss, right?
happen. That's how upsets happen. It's
But
like
that's not
saying
good for
Olive is a
competitive
better
games.
team, so
That's
Olive
based
should
off-
always win.
That's not based off of...
The
You
mode
can't
itself
base
is
it off
hard.
of that.
The whole coin flip motif is blown way out of proportion. You're making it sound like it's completely luck-based. We have seen this mode for like a month now. There's not enough evidence to make it sound like that's a mode that just completely takes away competitive integrity. There isn't enough.
Yo, you just want to say football commentary. That's really all it is. Just
Yeah, right.
say the truth.
I
Say the truth.
legitimately think that it is the most enjoyable mode to watch. Yes, I'll go ahead and say that. I think it's the most enjoyable mode to watch. Yeah, I know. This is part of this is rehearsed.
I guess we have
already
to
had this
start yelling
conversation
it because he
before.
can't hear. It's the best mode to
I do-
watch.
I do think it's the most enjoyable mode to watch. I do think that is my personal opinion. But even aside from that, I don't think it's as bad of a mode as you're making it out to be. Is it awful in solo queue? 100%. I will agree with that. I've played this game more these last 2 weeks than in the last 5 months. And I've played a lot of Clan Blitz, and I hate it in solo. But I think when the teams are put together, I think it's a lot of fun to watch, and I do think it's fun to play. That's me.
Okay. Another favor in Clan Blitz. It's just like Nine was saying with Ethereal on their teamwork. Clan Blitz really accentuates teamwork on another level that other modes don't. And teams that are really synergized and all together can show that off in Clan Blitz that you cannot show in other modes.
I disagree with that. I just think teams are just not coordinated enough on specific map modes right now because you have to play 60 frickin' map modes and there's no regulation. So some teams are going to be way, way more familiar with that one map, and others are just going to be like, "Oh
And
shit!" This
also,
is like...
while I do agree, like I feel like on the bigger maps that are also open and the basket isn't in a freaking small corridor like Manta Maria, also on like where you don't have something retarded like Muscle Forge.
Okay, so to be fair, I will say this. I think that there are maps for Clan Blitz that do warrant potential banning.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like restricting them. I am going to be clear with you on that. I think Muscle Forge, Clan Blitz is probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I think it takes forever to get a point in, and I think it's really hard to score and even get anything going. Like, the matches end in such a stalemate that it is really kind of a coin toss a lot of the time. I played in a match where I was in 9 minutes of overtime for Muscle Forge in solo. It was solo, I'm not going to lie, but still, that shouldn't happen even in solo. It should never happen. That's crazy that happens.
I'll agree. There are definitely Clan Blitz maps.
There are a
that need to be
lot of
planned.
like.
There-
Okay, let me ask you: what are the maps that you actually like Clan Blitz on? Seriously, that you
Did I
actually
seriously
like.
like it?
Yes.
I like it on. I actually enjoy it on Manta. I know that's unpopular, but I like it on Moray Towers. I think it's the only good Moray Towers map.
It's okay on Moray. I mean, I'm just not a fan of Moray in general, so I don't have like a comment on it because I just hate the map.
I hate the map too, but that's the one that I enjoy playing it.
I
like
think
it on Snapper Canal.
Mako Mart's real fun, man.
I like Mako Mart. I like Snapper Canal.
Snapper Canal is actually a pretty good one because there's a lot of routes to get in.
Snapper Canal. Yes.
I like Snapper Canal, and don't like Muscle Forge. I don't like.
How about the Reef? I haven't really has it even been played on the Reef yet?
Yeah, just bubbles,
Yeah,
just straight up bubbles. Throw them at spawn,
Okay.
you win the game.
Bubbles.
It's real nice.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful mode.
Yeah.
That's the same thing for tower control. Just throw bubbles on the tower and you win the game.
Oh,
Don't
come
even get me
on.
started.
No, it's not. Come on.
Yeah. Okay,
You're
fine.
gonna play on
Stingray.
bubbles for that?
Stingray then.
On port is the only one it's really that
on tower control.
disgusting.
On tower
On
control.
port.
On tower control.
On
So you're
port.
calling out the one
Alright.
map mode where we should ban it,
Oh my
No,
god.
not
I'm
the
saying-
entire mode.
Yeah.
I have been saying
Not
tower
the tower
control
mode itself.
entirely. Man, we have been bringing up points, and you all have
No.
just been
How
dismissing
many
it.
maps? How many maps did you give us?
I gave at least 6.
I mean, I could
And
go
that's just
through
off the
every
top of my
single
head.
map. Yeah, we're just doing off the top of our head. If you want, I'll present facts. I'll present a case. We'll go to court.
You played it like once
Please do.
2 weeks ago.
Listen, I played a lot and I watched a lot of it, man.
Oh,
like,
come on.
So you watched like some variety streamer playing it, and he's
Oh
like, "Oh
my
my god, this
God.
is amazing."
you realize that we do run tournaments, right? That's what InkTV does.
We watch as much Splatoon as anybody. You make it sound like we're just totally unfamiliar with everything.
Just because we
Come
don't
on,
play
man.
doesn't
Give
mean we
us a
don't
little
analyze. Like, Jesus.
credit.
Like,
So no, seriously, what were your 6 though? Now, in all honesty, like what maps do you honestly think at this point you love it?
I can let me take it from a
You
different direction.
absolutely like you feel like it's valuable.
Muscle Forge.
I gave my favorite 6. Now, how about this? I'll say the ones that I think it should be banned on. How about that? I
Fine.
think it should be banned on Humpback Pump Track. I think it should be banned on Muscle Forge, and
So you like
I don't know
Inkblot?
that-
You like Inkblot also, right?
I think Inkblot's okay.
I don't like.
I mean,
don't like
it's
Inkblot the
easily
map
as-
in general.
Yeah,
I would ban
Inkblot's
like,
just
I
as
would ban,
bad
like,
as
3 things on Inkblot.
what
honestly.
I mean is more. It's like Inkblot's like it's as bad as the Rainmaker mode on it.
Yeah.
So
I
if
think
we
that-
allow Rainmaker on it, then we allow Clan Blitz on it. That's more how I see it.
For me in Inkblot, there's only one mode that I think should be legal for Inkblot, and that's Splat Zones. But that's more of an Inkblot thing than a mode thing.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's a map
think Inkblot's
thing.
a very good
I
map.
like I exactly. Rainmaker's not really that good on the map, but if
Okay.
we allow that, then we allow Clan Blitz. That's more what I'm getting at.
I'm aggressively neutral towards Blackbelly Skate Park Clan Blitz, and I don't enjoy playing Port Mackerel Clan Blitz, but I don't think it should be banned either.
I think those two are pretty good actually. I think Port Mac.
I think Port
and,
Mackerel actually is fine.
Port Mac is good, and I actually like Blackbelly on it because I like that it's on the far left. You have a lot of routes to go into. The reason why I like a lot of these maps is that there's a lot of ways to get in, and that makes it more interesting.
Right. And
Muscle
then
Forge
I
has
think-
like one way, and that's through the middle. And if you don't get through the middle, then you're dead.
Right.
The only one I haven't got to
Welcome.
see on was Schellendorf. That's about
I haven't
it.
seen it yet.
Shellendorf's
It's like
so
right at the goal.
And like I said,
Yeah,
Mako Mart is
yeah,
one of my
Sheldorf's
personal
alright.
favorites. I really like it. I like how fast paced it
Mart's
is.
fun. I really like Mako
I
Mart.
like how fast you can go back and forth on the map, and it doesn't feel like it's too. It doesn't feel too chaotic. It feels like enough where if a team is really controlling, they can take over that game.
So there are a few. I mean, I've got my likes and dislikes. I think that there are some that should definitely be banned, but I also think that the mode has been out for a month, and that any like ban or not ban we make 1 month after the mode is out is entirely too premature, and we shouldn't even be having that discussion yet. That's how I feel. But that's more of my philosophy on what bans should be and how they should be addressed. So whether you think it's good or not is one thing. I just don't know that we should like. There's some. I do think that there are like a couple that we can have the conversation for banning. But in terms of a full mode ban, like
No, I'm not.
been
I'm
out a
not.
month.
I'm not gonna say a full mode ban. I mean, I'm obviously just like memeing that to the point where I don't personally. I don't like it. Most of the people I play with are just like, meh, it's okay.
Oh,
Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'll start
Walleye?
streaming it. What?
Walleye Clan Blitz.
that's like the only map I haven't played Clan Blitz
It's
on.
not bad.
It's not bad.
It's
Oh, okay, I'll
it's
say that. That's-
extremely
it's not bad.
neutral.
Not
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, that's Walleye.
No,
It's not
I
bad.
find overall Walleye's not amazing in Splat 2. Like the weapons
Really?
don't go well with it, I find, overall, compared to Splat 1. It feels too small. But I think Clan Blitz works on it.
It feels too small.
Yeah, the map in general feels like too... It feels too chaotic for what Splatoon 2 weapons are.
Really.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
In the last game, it was just like, can you get a bubble and a Kraken and sit in mid for a minute and a half? So it's gonna be more chaotic than that.
Well, I mean that's
Yeah,
that's fostered chaos. Like everyone's in the same place, you know. It's condensed. It's terrible, but it like there
Isn't
was
that,
a
like,
strategy
exciting,
to
though?
it. What?
Isn't it like exciting though in Splatoon 2? Because you get more people in that area, and you get like people firing from different like heights and stuff. You get that elevation play in there.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I was never a big fan of Wally in the first place, so. But yeah, I think Clown works on it.
Like, in all honesty, I mean, it's new. So I'll go with 9 thing. Maybe like you got like, in all honesty, we should do more. I don't know. Maybe teams should just scrim tournaments. I have no idea. Maybe it's something that needs to happen. So this just to see exactly everyone's stance on it. But
Right.
it is new.
Yeah.
It is new.
To your earlier point, Z-Stars, if there's enough data that shows more often than not that that's the mode that the quote-unquote upsets occur, to prove that it's in balance, I will be the first to say that we should ditch it and get rid of it. But I just want to see more of it before I can personally advocate for that. Because what it is on paper and what it is in reality, you know, those are two different things. Like,
I think that's something that's going to keep continuing. In all honesty, I don't think that's.
And to be fair, I feel like I've noticed a pattern. Personally speaking, when I've played, I feel like I've noticed them respawning at the same place at a similar time pattern. But from what you said, it isn't the case. But it feels like that to me.
So,
And it feels like
yeah.
they spawn enough where it doesn't feel like it's broken. I don't know.
Like there are set spawn locations, just there are some things that affect the time at which they spawn. There's some that affect like the exact positioning in which they spawn. And on some maps that makes like a really big difference. So let's say on what is it? Black Belly Skate Park, right? If you're trying to make like a route on how you get into the map. So if I'm the person that's supposed to go to, let's say, our zone and then go over to the right elbow, there's either going to be a clam there or there's going to be a clam on top mid. That's going to change my route drastically in terms of how I can get 10 clams the fastest. So, like, just the internal randomness of the mode is what I have a problem with. I think it can be fixed, but just the fact that the devs are scattering them around just to make it more fun for people, that's my problem. I think there is potential in the mode being competitively viable, but just like how, you know, Brawl had a trip mechanic in it, there's a reason why nobody played the game, right?
Well, that's not the best example, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, just saying
I get,
randomness doesn't foster
randomness
competitive.
isn't good.
I
No.
mean, I mean, you could say that, but look at Hearthstone.
Well, that's like a pay to. It's just massively popular. It's just a card game.
That has a lot of money and gets played
Yes.
competitively. I'm just
Blizzard
saying,
isn't.
like, is it a large enough of a random occurrence that it's worth banning? Because you could say, oh, it's random, but like tripping is like the difference between someone getting like stalked or not. You know what I mean? Like if you trip, it's like someone can literally just get a combo and kill you. In Splatoon, if you mess up your route and you get not one clam, I don't think it'll massively affect the game on the level that you think it will. I think that's the difference.
Like I said, one part is the routing, and one part is when you're at a goal spawn camping, like the other team, you have to get at least one person to go pick up more clams, right? So if they're going to spawn right under your feet, or if they're going to spawn on the other side of the map, there's going to be a huge difference. So I feel like if they had some way of like, I don't know, every 15 seconds or something, they spawned in like waves into the map or something, it'd be fine. But right now it's just, the timing is just all over the place.
But you'd have to time that. Like you would actively have to have this internal clock in your head and know at exactly what point in time it stops. I feel like no one would do that. Wouldn't it just be better as a team to be like, hey, someone kind of sit in the back who's spawning and collect the clams and come up with you guys or something? I feel like that could be a strategy to the randomness. It's like the whole point of the game is control, right? So if you're all the way up in their base, like you should have the control to be able to pick up clams around that area of the map, or at least I think that's the logic behind it.
Yeah, but I don't think it should affect that drastically as to who's going to win and who's going to lose the match. Right.
I mean, we'll have to do some more research on how it's done. I just never felt like there was a point where like 20 clans spawned right in front of me. I felt like I always kind of had to go back near the middle or the back of my base to get more clams. Almost always.
Well, yeah, just keep grinding out that solo queue. Find out how sometimes that one person gets real lucky, and you're just sitting on one clam, and you get 4 right underneath your feet, and it's a great feeling.
All right. Well, I guess that solves our debate. That's not solved.
No, it won't be.
But it's cool. I guess we'll go into some viewer questions. I'm going to try pulling some up, okay? So just give me a moment here while I get them. We have a lot that are for stars in general. I feel like almost all of them. So, yeah, let's take a look at these.
Shout out to my college friends and roommates. They're great people.
Okay, I guess following off the topic, K-Bot posted this 8 minutes ago. Your guys' take, should we invest more time in CB-only tourneys to continue collecting info and forming opinions?
Yes.
There's no harm in it. Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think there's
think
anything
actually,
against doing anything.
I think it actually should be a more common thing, but nobody wants to do that. So, with all maps and modes, just to actually test certain things out instead of doing a variety of different tournaments.
I'd go even further,
map and modes.
and I think that there should be some type of like specific maps and modes potentially for like a 3-month period. But that might be that might be taking out a lot of the like if people want to play in Japanese tournaments, you're missing out on a lot of fundamentals of playing other maps. But then again, the argument could be that you're playing 60 map modes anyways, so focusing on 8 for a period of like 2 months might actually be better for you, because you can actually focus on strategies and then work on them, and then the next 3 months you have another map mode that you can work on. But yeah, I'm more and more of the belief that we should start creating more of a system where we only have, like, let's say 16 map mode combos that will be played for this month or this 2-month period, and you have to learn these. I think it'll foster competition.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree.
I can agree with
I think Ludi does that pretty well, but again, that's on a week-by-week basis, not like a tournament basis.
Yeah, and not only that, like, Ludi's not representative of the entire community, I guess you could say. Like, yes, you focus on those maps, but when you go to another tournament, right, like let's say you go to SQSS, we have all the maps and modes running anyways, so which one are you going to play? Are you going to focus on Ludi, or are you going to focus on SQSS? And you have to make that decision, right? So I think there's probably a better way to go about it. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Again, who's going to make that decision, right?
Well,
So-
That's also true.
we'll see. We'll see.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm not saying I have anything in the works. I'm being
Oh.
completely honest right now. I don't have anything in the works. But it's something that I have thought about on a personal level. So, let me go into DrStarzGaming says, because he posts questions every day. Who is this guy? He says, "What do you think the strongest weapons? What do you think the strongest weapons are going to be at G5? How does it make being at a LAN make a difference in top tier weapon picks?"
Well,
Good question.
it is a good. This is a smart guy. So the thing that I've always noticed is it seems like the story of a lot of different LANs becomes which T-Tech can carry the hardest, or which. I mean, we all saw what Perps did at Don't Park on the Grass. We saw what Dadsy was able to do at Smash and Splash, and then of course we saw what Kiver and Pixel respectively were able to do at Genesis. So I always keep an eye on the T-Tech. That's what I meant. Yeah,
No,
I'm thinking
good.
on Genesis. So I'd say keep an eye on. Fast becomes faster on LAN. That's my experience when I play on LAN. Is I find the people who are fast just get even faster, and it becomes that much more difficult to hit them. Like I'd played against Mifa several times from SKR, just in squads and just PBs, and I knew how fast Mifa was. Hit an entirely different gear on LAN. So I think that those short range shooters, I I dread all the end zaps we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be so fast. So that's a boring answer, but from my experience, it's been the correct one.
I don't think you're going to see any difference in weapons being played.
Yeah, same.
I just don't think that we're at the level yet where we can start dictating what we think is better at a LAN and what isn't. I just don't think they're frequent enough, or we have the same type of caliber of player teams going to each event. Like, this is arguably the most competitive, well, not competitive, but the highest caliber teams that we've seen at a LAN event, right? So how can that dictate? Like, that could depend hugely on what the skill level is, right? Like, what we see in Japan is what they're playing, is that type of weapon, but we don't see the same thing at a LAN event because potentially the skill base is lower, or people feel more comfortable, or maybe people are making comfort picks. I feel like we won't really see what is meant to be played on zero latency until we start getting some more teams, higher end teams, consistently going to tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the camp with 9 here. What he said was actually really good. So like you said, T-Techs, they're not really played online anymore, but like when you bring the LAN aspect into it, that there's like a 1 to 0 frame delay between when you hit the shot and when the person dies. So a big problem with NZAPs online right now is that you take one shot to break the armor, you take another shot, and another, or whatever, however many it takes to actually kill the person. And on that last shot, it could take up to like half a second for the person to die, right? So as soon as you go into a LAN environment, that doesn't happen. So you're going to be surviving a lot longer against these unzaps, and they're not going to be as strong, and your armor is also not going to be as strong because it's not going to take multiple hits instead of just the one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I was trying to allude to earlier when I was saying I want to see 2 Forges, because Forge is kind of insane on LAN. Highly recommend to anybody going to G5, play Forge, look at my build, play that build. After the patch, it's going to be even stronger. So yeah, the thing about Forge is that, one, you're going to run Object Shredder on it, so if somebody is using an NZAP, you're going to kill it real quick. Also, Forge online, I think you've been playing it a bit, 9, so you can probably tell that after the 3rd shot, you could probably get 4 or maybe 5 shots for the person to actually die online. Mm-hmm. So on LAN, you just hit the 3rd shot and keep moving. You're not actually just sitting there like holding the trigger, waiting for the person to frickin' die already. So I think the long range, fast shooting shooters are going to be a lot more prominent there.
We all saw dude really cleaned up with the pro at Squidstorm, and I would expect to see the exact thing here. I think you're right. It's the year of the Forge, baby. I'm interested to see if some people are talking about it in chat. Brella's kind of fallen off a bit, and I'll be interested to see. I know Mullen's going to be there, and I know that Hexen also used Brella. I don't know that it'll. I don't know if it'll be back. I'm interested to see if it will be though, because it fell off pretty hard.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see if Brella comes back, because the Brellas put on a show at Squidstorm. I mean, some of the best plays were made by the Brellas. So I'll be interested in seeing if people bring those back.
Right. And I guess before we get into just some other questions, we're going to do some trigger rounds here for Stars, since we have like a million questions from his friends. So first one is, Dr. Stars is a god, that's all. That's from Diego. Thank you, Diego.
Awesome.
Apparently you're a god.
I guess so. I didn't know, but it's good.
Best snipe both Dakotas says, is snipe life?
Jesus, that's Z, isn't it?
That's Z Gamer Guy.
Yeah. Okay. According to him and Pika, yes, snipe is life, but I'd just not do that if I were you.
All right. The Barry CB Spence 21 says, what makes you the best Forge in NA if not the world?
Amazing person, right? Yeah. Okay. So, I'm not. I'm blatantly not. What I have said before actually is that I think my bubbles are some of the best in the world, and there's only one reason for that. It's the build that I use. So
what's
if
your
you
build?
look at if you look at any Forge main, like literally any Forge main out there, other than me, you'll see giant ass bubbles, right? Because that's kind of what the meta's doing right now, you know? Like top teams are playing giant ass bubbles, and when this patch hit, and just in general, if you run smaller bubbles, but you run 2 suction bombs at one time, you can do some major damage really quick. So what I do, I have 2 mains and 5 subs of Subsaver, and that lets me actually throw 2 suction bombs with the Forge. This does a couple things. It lets you, you can actually ink the ground with suction bombs instead of your main weapon. So it's a little convoluted, but if you throw like 2 suction bombs out of the way at spawn and just kind of swim to mid, you'll have a full tank and you'll have half your special already, right? And if you have bubbles and you want to throw them at people, you can do one of 2 things. One, you can throw all 3 of them out and kind of like annihilate an area really quick with no contention, because nobody can kill your bubbles faster than you can with 2 suction bombs. Or what I like to do, you can throw 1 bubble that way and 1 bubble that way and throw a bomb that way and blow up both of the people. So it eliminates some of the restrictions of the Forge having to throw out all 3 bubbles at one time by actually letting you throw 2 suction bombs at 1 bubble.
All right.
There you go. Chat's learning
Wow.
stuff today.
Next one. How did you choose the name DrStars?
No,
This is
Yeah.
from Wheat Penny Master.
this guy was there. He knows how it happened. So, like I said earlier, I'm an engineer. I'm not very creative. I'm also not very full of myself, so a lot of people are like, yeah, you call yourself Stars because you're like, you think you're the best. You're like, awesome, great. So there's actually a mechanical twist to get my name from my last name, and based upon, if you switch my last name into German, and then basically you get Star, and after that we were just kind of like sitting in our apartments, and one night I had to come up with a username for Smash Brothers, so they're giving me shit for trying to type my real name in, and I wound up just saying something off the cuff that I wanted to have, you know, my stripper name as my my Smash name, and I thought it was kind of like cool because it had like a Z at the end, because that's how like all the flashy ones do it. So that's kind of the backstory.
Kendall, you look like you're so fucking freaked out. You okay?
Yeah, we good.
Okay. How's the gaming part come into the stripper name?
Oh, like gaming's just there to be like.
To distinguish yourself from not being...
Oh no.
Stripper.
So the gaming part is actually strategic there, because I see this freaking InkTV splat all over the place, right? So it's probably the same kind of reason why you have that. It's because I looked up Dr. Stars on every single social media platform, and I couldn't get it on some of them.
Okay.
So I added gaming on the last part, and it's just kind of like open. Nobody gives a shit. So
Okay.
that's where the gaming came from. I hate it. So it's there.
I guess another one is, have you ever been in another team? I mean, did you just belong to Gen Z? This is from Valero Cubile.
Yeah. I think he's on Conton Nights 1. I think I
Okay.
saw this one. So Generation Z I started after I left Fresh of Squids. Fresh of Squids was my first team, and I stuck with them for probably 9 months inside of Splatoon 1. So, yeah. And fun fact about that, actually yesterday was the 1-year anniversary for Generation Z as our 4 Squid squad, so it's pretty hype.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, let me see if I can get one last question here. Let's see. Okay, let's say Splatoon has never gotten a balance patch. They got updates like new weapons, maps, and modes, but not a balance patch. Which game would you rather play in version 1.0, Splatoon 1 or 2?
Can I make like an exception to this, because I feel like there's just a right answer here? Like,
Sure.
can we include the August update of Splatoon 1? because without the August update in Splatoon 1, you have no private battles and you have no league.
Yeah, I think the assumption is what he means is like essential like no balance patches.
So it's just from the. Man, I feel like this question's got an ulterior motive.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think the answer is Splatoon 2. I think that's just straight up the answer. I don't understand. Splatoon 1 just like the special like so each game has its big issues. In my opinion, I think specials are just too frequent in Splatoon 2, but I think the overall actual weapons and kits themselves are way more balanced. It's just how often that they're used is the issue. While Splatoon 1, I think the kits themselves are broken as fuck. And they can't really be tweaked past that point. I think that there's room for improvement in Splatoon 2. And I think overall in general, I just prefer playing the second game more. And that coming from someone who is probably better at the first game. So
I'll piggyback off that and say that I also enjoy playing Splatoon 2 more, and that's from someone who, like you said, was probably better at the first game, and I put way more hours. I mean, I was an active competitor in Splatoon 1 after all the balance patches and all the weapons had come out, you know? I mean, I did my time with that game, and I do personally enjoy Splatoon 2 more. I'm not going to go into, like, strict detail, but I do think that it's also a little premature to have this conversation when all the weapons aren't out in Splatoon 2 and all the maps aren't out. So, I don't know. I guess I enjoy Splatoon 2 more, but I also don't think that it's an even conversation either way. So,
No. While I actually enjoy Splatoon 1 more at this point, actually. That's just me personally, but I'm going to have to go with Splatoon 2. Only because of where Splatoon 1 started from. And Splatoon 2 has a lot more potential at this point in time still. And as Nine says, the weapons haven't... Not all the weapons have been released yet, and we don't know what else can come out with this game.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
all right.
So in Splatoon 1, you're looking at like the worst Ixuka ever, if you can remember. Like you could spam it to no end, just like trigger it, and it can go as fast as you pretty much want. And in Splatoon 2, you get Tri-Slosher with armor spam as like a full team. So it's actually not a bad question. I would just give it out to Splatoon 2 because I just overall like it better. I think the weapon balance and special balance is a lot better, even from the beginning.
All right. So I think that about wraps up our show, guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Kendall and Nine, for coming on the show again, and for Stars being our guest today. I think we had a good conversation. We got all our frustrations out about Clam Blitz, even though you guys are wrong.
Me and Nine still got an argument to have about tower control, so it's all good.
Anyways, what I'll do is I'll close off the show by showing the GatorLAN trailer, and then I'm going to show a Genesis 5 trailer since we've been talking about it the whole time, so you guys can get hyped up about everything. And then, yeah, we'll close off the show from there. So, see you later, guys. Have a good night. Sorry about that. Just give me a moment here.